So we've spent our last few videos talking about ways to solve systems of equations. Now remember, a system of equations is just when we're looking at more than one equation at the same time, right? So a system of equations is more than one equation. All right, we've talked about how to solve those systems by graphing and how to solve those systems by substitution. Today, I want to talk about how to solve systems of equations using elimination. And in the past, you've already used elimination to solve equations, you just didn't know it. Let's look at an example. If I took the equation 2x minus 3 equals 5, how would you go about solving that? Well, many people would say, I want to add 3 to both sides so that I can get this equal to 0 and have my numbers on one side, my variables on another, right? Or you could say I'm moving the 3 over, or I'm getting rid of or eliminating that 3, right? So when I add 3 to both sides, I eliminate the 3 and I'm left with 2x equals 8. Now, another way we could look at this, if I take 2x minus 3 equals 5, what if I gave you this equation? 3 equals 3, right? That's true. 3 does equal 3. And now if I add these two equations together, I'm still adding the same thing to both sides, right? I add 3 to this side and 3 to that side. 2x stays the same because I'm not adding anything to it. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. And then 5 plus 3 is 8. So I just eliminated the 3 by adding together a system of equations. Pretty cool, right? So let's take a look and see what happens when I have two variables and I eliminate in a system of equations. Okay. Negative 4x minus 2y equals negative 12. 4x plus 8y equals negative 24. So what I'm looking for here is I want to see, if I add these two together, will something cancel out, right? Will something add to 0? So if I look at negative 4x and 4x, and I'm also looking at negative 2y and positive 8y. Now you might be screaming at your computer and saying, Mr. Dussault, I see something that adds to 0, but I can't hear you. But maybe you are. Negative 4 plus 4 does add to 0. So if I add these two equations together, negative 4x plus 4x is 0. And I'm going to write that 0 for now, just so that you're seeing negative 4x plus 4x is 0. Negative 2y plus 8y is positive 6y. And negative 12 plus negative 24 is negative 36. Okay, 0 plus 6y is just 6y, so 6y equals negative 36. Now we can solve for y by dividing by 6 on both sides. And we're left with y equals negative 6. Okay, but I'm not done, because with a system of equations, I have two equations and I have two answers, right? I have an answer for x and an answer for y. So maybe we can do this. I want to substitute back in this y into one of these equations. You could choose either and it would work. I'll choose the second one because I like positive numbers. So 4x plus 8 times negative 6, right? 8y, and y is negative 6. This goes back to substitution, equals negative 24. Okay, so now we can do some simplifying and multiplication. 8 times negative 6 is negative 48, equals negative 24. Add 48 to both sides. Again, another type of elimination. 4x equals 24 divide by 4 on both sides, and I'm left with x equal to 6. So then my solution would be x is 6, y is negative 6, right? Oops. That would be the solution to that system of equations. Okay, and let it be known that sometimes you might subtract systems as well. This time we added, you could also subtract. Either works. We're subtracting or adding the same thing to both sides because 4x plus 8y is equal to negative 24. So it's just like when we add the same thing to both sides because these two sides of the equation are equal. All right, let's do one more example. A little bit more interesting this time. 5x plus y equals 9. 10x minus 7y equals negative 18. Okay, so again, if I'm thinking elimination, I want to look at the number in front of x and the number in front of y. Right, this is y, so this is like we have 1y up there. 5 plus 10 is not 0. 1 plus negative 7 is not 0. So what do? Well, remember, we're working with equations. So this idea of doing the same thing to both sides is still in play and definitely what we want to take advantage of. So I would like to make this 5 the same as 10 so that I can add them together so that, or subtract them, right? So that I can cancel 1 out. So what would I need to do to make 5 the same as 10? Well, if I multiply this entire equation by 2, right, multiplying both sides by 2, then what does that leave me with? That would give me 10x plus 2y equal to 18. And then, of course, I still have my old equation. Let's just write it over here. 10x minus 7y equals negative 18. That's looking pretty good because I have 10 and 10 right here. Now, remember what I said last time, sometimes you might need to subtract. In here, in order to get 10x and 10x to 0, I do need to subtract from both sides. So I do need to subtract these two equations. All right, I guess we're going to stick with pink over here. 10x minus 10x is 0. 2y minus negative 7y, okay, minus a negative. Remember, subtraction is adding the opposite. So 2y plus 7y is 9y. And 18 minus negative 18, right? Adding the opposite. So 18 plus 18 is 36. So I have 9y equals 36. If I divide both sides by 9, I get y equal to 4. And now let's substitute back in. You could substitute into this equation, to that, right? You could substitute into any of these equations, whatever you like. I kind of like this equation over here because I just have y, right? 5x plus y equals 9. So maybe we substitute in, maybe, okay, 5x plus y is 4 equals 9. If I subtract 4 from both sides, I get 5x equal to 5. Divide by 5. And x is equal to 1. So then my solution would be 1, comma 4, right? X is 1 and y is 4. That's when my equations are the same. When x is 1, y is 4. Now, something maybe for you to think about is, how could I have eliminated y? Instead of x, could I have eliminated y? Well, yeah, if I had multiplied this by 7 or -7, then I would have been able to eliminate y. And so it's really whatever you choose. That's the great thing about solving systems of equations, is that once you kind of get used to using them, you get to see that there are many ways to solve the same problem. And sometimes there will be ways that seem easier to you to solve a problem. So once you get the hang of it, you'll start seeing different ways and finding the easiest way, at least what you think is the easiest to solve. I thought the easiest way was to multiply by 2, so that's what I did here. Hopefully that helps you understand a little bit more about how to solve systems by elimination. See you next time.